Hello friends and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. In this episode, let's talk about Cube Agree C62 SL for the 2022 season. But before we start, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe and hit that little like button because it's gonna help in growing the channel. And for all of you who are already a subscriber, then definitely thank you. So, as I was saying, Cube Agree C62 SL road bike. Let's first answer the question, who is this bike for? So Cube Agree platform is all about endurance. So long days in the saddle, comfortable bike ride, this is what this bike is all about. Of course, you can notice that the carbon fiber frame and the fork have been aerodynamically optimized, but this is just the classical trend of the bikes in 2022. But make no mistake, this is not your, aero road bike, this is a classical endurance road bike. Speaking about the price of this bike, so the retail price is 5,100 British pounds or approximately 5,000 euros. So you see, definitely not a cheap bike. I mean, the price is a bit of eye-watering, but we will see what do you really get for your hard-earned money, and you will see why I still consider this bike a pretty good value for money considering what's included. So speaking about your value for money, we can immediately dive into the specifications of the bike and see what you really get for your hard-earned money. I will just mention now, considering the paint scheme of this bike, there is only one paint scheme on offer, and this is this beautiful kind of metallic snow white with a hint of black. It's a pretty classical combination, and personally I like it, but I still believe that Cube should have offered at least another paint scheme to choose from on this bike, just because the retail price is about 5,000 euros or 5,100 British pounds. Now let's talk about the frame and the fork on this bike. So see, the frame is a carbon fiber frame from Cube, so C62 advanced twin mold carbon fiber frame. It has an option for an internal cable routing. It has an integrated seat post clamp. Basically, it's integrated into the carbon fiber frame. Of course, it has flat mount disc brakes and also 12mm through axles, both front and the back. The fork, it is again a carbon fiber fork from Cube, their Cube CSL carbon fiber fork, tapered carbon fiber fork with flat mount disc brakes, and of course 12mm through axle. I have to mention here that one disappointing thing with carbon fiber frames and forks from Cube is that the warranty is only 3 years. So I wish that Cube will increase this warranty in the future to at least 5 years warranty, because as it is now, I think this is the lowest warranty on carbon fiber frames and forks as far as I'm aware. So this definitely should be changed in the future. So please, Cube, increase your warranty on carbon fiber frames and forks to at least 5 years. Now let's talk about the braking system on this bike. So you will get a very good Sram Force hydraulic disc brakes, 160mm braking rotors both front and the back, and these are Sram Paceline braking rotors. And I will just mention here that this Sram Force hydraulic disc brakes should work perfectly fine. If you are moving from Shimano hydraulic disc brakes, you will definitely notice a bit of difference and different feel in the braking. And also, it seems to me still that Sram hydraulic disc brakes are just a little bit below in performance when it comes to comparison with the Shimano hydraulic disc brakes. But as I said, this Sram Force hydraulic disc brakes with 160mm braking rotors front and the back, I'm not expecting any problems, and I also believe that heat dissipation will be very, very good on these rotors. Now let's talk about the group set on the bike, which is definitely a secret sauce of this bike. So this is a Sram Force eTap Access group set, 12-speed group set, everything from the shifters, front mech and the rear mech, and this is the wireless Sram Force group set. So Shifters, front mech and the rear mech are communicating wirelessly. There's no cables. You can adjust everything through an app, and this is absolutely brilliant group set, and I have no complaints here. Everything that I've heard, people who have used it, everything is very good, and it really works very, very nice. So this Sram Force wireless group set eTap access is kind of middle of the range with Sram group set. So again, I'm not expecting here any problems. It should work faultlessly. When we speak about the bottom bracket on this carbon fiber frame, it's going to be the Sram Dub press fit bottom bracket, 86 millimeters. Here, just keep in mind that this Sram Dub bottom bracket can develop a bit more creaking noises than the comparable Shimano press fit bottom bracket, but it is what it is. You gotta stick with it because of the crankset on this bike. Speaking about the crankset, they didn't cut corners here, so it's again Sram Force Dub crankset. This is 48-35 chain rings, and I will just mention here that if 48-35 chain rings are too big for you, you can always change it in the future, because on this Sram Force crankset you can also use 46-33 chain rings. This crankset is paired with the Sram Force XG 1270 cassette, and this is 1033 cassette. So you see 1033 cassette at the back, huge range, and also at the front 48-35 chain rings. You will definitely have no problems in climbing any steep mountains. Speaking about this cassette XG 1270, it's definitely a beautiful piece of work that Sram does with these cassettes, but just keep in mind, when you need to replace this cassette, and you will definitely need to replace it after about 2 or 3 chains, the retail price is 190 euros, so it's a pretty expensive piece of tech. And I will also mention here that it comes in different varieties, for example, all the way from 1028 and this version all the way to 1036. So you can kind of combine different, cassettes at the back if you really need a bit more range, but keep in mind retail price, as I said, 190 euros. I'm glad they didn't cut corners here, so the chain on the bike is again a Sram Force D1 chain, and I would suggest you in the future, when you destroy this chain, to stick with the Sram chains, just because of the compatibility with the cassette and the front chain rings. Now let's talk about the wheelset on this bike, which is also, I would say, one of the highlights of the bike. So this is the Newman Advanced SLR 38 carbon fiber wheelset. So this Newman Advanced SLR 38, as I said, carbon fiber wheelset, carbon fiber rims with the hubs from Newman Evolution SL hubs with Sapim laser spokes. I'm expecting these Newman Evolution hubs to work perfectly fine, no complaints here. And I will mention here that this wheelset has a 38mm rim height, 19mm inner rim width, and also keep in mind that the rear wheel is 735 grams. So the front wheel is definitely going to be a bit lighter. Let's call it about 650 grams. So all in all, I would expect this wheelset to be around 1,400 grams out of the box, which is very light in my book. And as I said, a carbon fiber wheelset. You can turn it into a tubeless wheelset, I'm definitely sure, but you will just need to provide your own tubeless tape and the tubeless valves. These wheels are wrapped in superb Continental Grand Prix 5000 Kevlar tires, 28mm tires both front and the back. I'm so glad that Cube has chosen this 28mm tire, just because of a lot of air volume inside, and definitely your ride is going to be much, much smoother. Now let's talk about the handlebar and the stem. This is an integrated piece, handlebar and the stem, ICR carbon fiber cockpit, aerodynamically optimized, of course, but the thing that bothers me here is that always keep in mind, when you have an integrated handlebar and the stem, in the future, if you want to change it, your choices are definitely going to be limited. And also, if you want to finely tune the position on the bike, again, this is going to be a limiting factor for you, because depending on the frame size of this bike, you will have a different width of the handlebar and also different length of the stem. So for example, if you need a size 58 of the carbon fiber frame, you will have 440 millimeters width of the handlebar and 100 millimeter stem. So it might work for you, might not, but just keep that in mind that this is a trade-off with these integrated handlebars and the stem. Now let's talk about the seat post and the saddle. So the saddle is Natural Fit Nuance SLT. So this is some kind of Cube's own in-house production saddle. I'm not expecting anything special here, and if you don't like this saddle, it's very easy to replace it with your preferred saddle. Seat post is the Cube's Aero Comfort Flex carbon fiber seat post, so all good here. And just to be double sure, I would just double check about this seat post. This is the carbon fiber seat post, but I truly believe it is, because they are mentioning here that is a Comfort Flex saddle. Speaking about the total weight of this bike, it is 7.8 kilograms, although Cube doesn't mention in which size, so I would expect at least size 56. So as you see, it's not, the lightest of the bikes with 7.8 kilograms, but again, this is an endurance road bike, long days in the saddle, a bit more relaxed geometry, so you definitely can't expect any super light machine that would, hover around, let's say, 7.3 kilograms. So, all in all, in a summary, I don't have any special complaints about this bike. You have to put it into a perspective of a retail price of 5,100 British pounds, or approximately 5,000 euros. Just few small details to always keep in mind. Please do double check with the Cube dealer that this seat post is a carbon fiber seat post. I truly believe it is. And also keep in mind, in the future, when you need to change this Sram cassette at the back, Sram Force cassette, that it will easily set you back for about 190 euros. So these are just a few small details, and definitely the highlights of these bikes are the wireless Sram Force group set. Everything from the shifters, front mech and the rear mech is gonna work absolutely perfectly fine. And also I would say that the Newman carbon fiber wheels, front and the back, should be a beautiful piece of kit. So all in all, I think this is gonna be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing, and if you do, please do subscribe and hit that little like button, so it's gonna help in growing the channel. And as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Pura Vida!